Hello, everyone. It is Saturday, the 9th of March, 2024, and a lot of frustrating news I can talk about, and I will, because I usually do like to get the current events out of the way at the beginning of my videos, and then possibly get to things like flat, artificially created reality stuff, luminescence stuff, the noble gases stuff, the electrical magnetism stuff. But I do live in Canada, and it's a bit of a nightmare right now. I'm not going to lie. I know the U.S. and all first world countries are dealing with a lot of the same stuff. They're not first world countries anyways, especially not anymore, based on so many different things, like not even just economic collapse and inflation and crisis in that way, but also with civil unrest, with so much division that's being propagated by career politicians, whatever you want to call them, and the mainstream media, and what they're calling independent journalists, what they're like, people of various platforms or parties do pay people to be what they classify as independent journalists, and they are literally just towing the party line and just mouthpieces for the platform and for the party leaders, and not actually independent journalists, right? We need to have people like myself, who have volunteered myself, as someone that was an international security expert, still is obviously, but to make assessments that these people are not making. And the reason why it's important is because we are seeing way more than ever that our heads of government institutions who have no business being in the positions they're in, they're listening to bought and paid for state-funded media that's propagating messages that's not even Canadian, not in line with Canadian values, traditions, customs, all that stuff, like I've talked about in countless videos. And it's unfortunate. And so I did get a few comments yesterday on a couple of my videos. And what is the one I wanted to talk about? There's just so many. Let me just go through here. Oh yeah, and it was about QAnon. So I was asked about QAnon. I've talked about that in videos, but in that person's defense, it's been, I think, probably over a year, maybe less, but that I've talked about QAnon and what my thoughts are on it. And so on Rumble, definitely I have a video up. It might have been deleted on YouTube. I haven't checked because it's been probably a year. But the title says QAnon, and then I said equals Operation Trust ? Or something along those lines. But I do believe that QAnon is a counterintelligence agency organization that also uses other agencies and organizations, and that absolutely works with the government, like that at the federal level, and people like Donald Trump, like he is part of a counterintelligence operation. And so I've even showed pictures of him with counterintelligence people, whatever they want to call themselves. I think it's like CDC or something like that, or CD something. Anyway, CDA, or I don't know. But anyways, it's like the counterintelligence people, agencies within the U.S., and he's pictures of him in and around them. And so he's a propagandist, and I know that people either love him or love to hate him, which and I'm saying that people should just be neutral and just realize that neither him nor Biden are suitable for the presidency. Like I can't believe that I have to say that out loud, like to people, for so many different reasons. But Operation Trust, that was during the Soviet era, when people within government they called it Operation Trust, but led people to believe, just so they wouldn't protest peacefully or at all. They wouldn't protest all the crimes against humanity that were being committed, and the exploitation and all of that stuff. And the Soviet Union, eventually collapsed in '91 and stuff like that. But a lot of this has to do with all these precursors, right? And so we have to see things for what they are and why they're used and what can happen, with that. And so it destabilized the Soviet Union, obviously, and no one did anything about it, because with the Operation Trust, which is what they called it, people thought that there was people that were working within government, that were falsified their death and all this other stuff, because this whole JFK and all this other fucking stuff that's going along with the QAnon stuff. It's all, again, it's all they're doing is just recycling Operation Trust. And again, even though, like I'm saying, no one's going to do anything about what's going on with all the corruption within cabinet, within Senate, the judicial system, criminals and lobbyists that are actually intentionally selected to do away with and charge and punish what they consider to be political prisoners, but what they are is normal, healthy human beings that are just trying to speak up and out on actually all the atrocities that are being committed. And we had the father of a soldier that was killed in Afghanistan. It was lied about, and even the pullout and stuff like that, like, was ridiculous how it was done. And then his other son, this guy's other son, committed suicide during a memorial service for his brother. And this doesn't make mainstream media. And his father just got arrested during that fucking stupid speech that pedophile made. And he got arrested. This is what I mean. Like, what the fuck? He was being peaceful, and it was all like he wants to bring light to all the bullshit. And he's gone through a lot, and he's had 2 sons now die of service. And we've got a guy that's named Pedo Pete in his son's phone, and his 13-year-old daughter admitted, she's obviously older now, but like when she was 13 years old, that he was like showering with her and all this stuff. It's just such fucking disgusting stuff, man. And it's soul crushing. And Aaron Bushnell too, like, he's someone that's was in uniform, self-immolated, and people in the media or even fucking truthers in the truther community, that just don't like government. They're so fucking anti-government. They don't see that there are people in the government or working around the government that their lives have been destroyed or they've been fucking murdered, all of this stuff, or imprisoned. And you have the fucking nerve with these podcaster truthers with the fucking pink, purple fucking hair to call him a radical and all of this stuff. We're saying nothing at all, like within the truther community, or like, oh, it's like no, bitch, no. And I'm talking about certain people. I won't even name them, but like usually have good stuff. But like Aaron Bushnell did what he thought was the best thing to do to bring awareness to an actual genocide that's going on in Palestine right now. People are not looking at what's happening. People are not seeing that women and children and elderly are still getting slaughtered. And you would not want that to happen to your family or you. Yet you're completely numb and fully supporting and enabling it because of what happened in World War II. Palestinians had fucking nothing to do with what happened in Europe in World War II. And there's a lot of Germans that left Germany, Jewish Germans, and there's a lot of Jewish Germans and Jewish people that were in Europe at the time that also committed fully enabled crimes against their own. And they're living in North America, and they've even admitted it. Soros and Schwab, like, these people have actually admitted on video, Jewish people and their families admitting that they have killed Jewish people and other people like, like lower class, like, and so the fact that we're not aware of this, and where we have people within cabinet that are bringing in Ukrainian Nazis and celebrating them while ignoring people like myself. Just I don't know. It's like, I've buried people that I've loved overseas, carried medals and berets during ramp ceremonies, attended ramp ceremonies for other soldiers, like even international. I've attended American ramp ceremonies as well, British, etc. There's no Israelis there when I was overseas, though. And so we're all supporting something that might turn into a world war again, which means that the Emergency Act will be declared in Canada, which means there won't be an election. So dumb fuck Trudeau doesn't get his election because he knows he's going to be voted out. And Pierre Poilievre is not the answer to get voted in because he's a career politician who has not been on the right side of humanity yet, and is also an opportunist. And I'm disappointed in saying that because I did like him at one point, and I've reached out to him multiple times, and he has not gotten back to me, and he's still lying to Canadians, and he's still getting people that I know harmed, and there's so much blood on these people's hands. And we have the Gestapo Nazi types now in government that are doing nothing about it, and people that are trying to do something about it within government. Look at Helen Gruce, like I keep on saying, look what happened to me, look still happening to me. It's stuff that I can't even fucking say yet. And countless other people that I know. Anyway, it's just disappointing. I'll go into my X feed now. Nancy Pelosi Here's a video you might like. I'm just going to go down the list.
Now, you should have said undocumented, but that's not a big thing, okay? What's the big thing about
no,
that?
I actually wasn't even going to ask about that. I was just going to ask more about the moment. But you do think that he should have said undocumented? That wasn't going to be my question.
Well, we usually say undocumented. He said
Yeah. So Nancy Pelosi, when talking about Laken Riley, who was murdered by an invader, a colonizer, whatever you want to call him, she was more concerned that he was called an illegal instead of undocumented. This is how so oblivious to reality, and they don't even understand how offensive they are. Like, I can't. Latvia's defense minister Andris spreads, and I agree, Russia's war on Ukraine is a war on democracy, self-determination, and freedom. We must stand with Ukraine. That's why I announced today that Canada is joining the Drum Coalition with Ukraine by Latvia and the UK. This is the fucking biggest criminal in Canada right here, and you need to fucking lose some weight. So maybe that $6,000 that you're probably getting just like Chrystia Freeland a month for gym memberships and shit like that, why don't you actually fucking use it? And the G20, anyways, I said, this is my response to this. You lied about Snake Island, Polish farmers who were murdered by Ukrainian air defense, lied about Nord Stream 1 and 2, lied about literally everything, and getting Canadians, Americans, Ukrainians, Russians, and Palestinians killed. I need to add that. Anyways, you need jail from the G20 summit alone. Because can't edit after a certain point. And then here's another point. Can you support a politician that did not stand up for you during COVID? Or one who has flip-flopped multiple times since then, but seems to support some of the things you want now? Question mark. And I said no to this because this is talking about Pierre. Justin Trudeau, completely clueless about anything important right now. Let's talk about contraception. Like, we need to be having families, and this idiot's talking about contraception that also causes adverse side effects. And, yeah. So imagine if we had a government that encouraged couples to have children, lots and lots of beautiful children. Fertility treatment and adoption for those struggling, better support and resources for unplanned pregnancies. What then? Like, I love this. And then so I just added to that. I said almost 500,000 Canadians, families fled Canada in 2023, with more fleeing this year. The surge of foreign workers and students is not permanent. We are all being exploited for money. Our suburbs have been decimated to accommodate greed, and the cities and suburbs will fall. See, like I need to correct my. I was writing this at like 4 a.m. though, in my defense. And it's better than not saying anything at all, right? So the people here that are just like blindly complacent and friggin' doing nothing to try to speak out and address things on social media, then you don't have the right to talk. And then there's another thing I would love to know. I want to know if Bill Blair or Wayne Eyre, if they know Brian Fox, because Marco Mendicino and Justin Trudeau possibly did. And I misspoke yesterday when I said liberal, a heavy liberal campaign donator. He's donated to like, he's also aligned with the Conservative Party. So like, he's just like essentially like an opportunist at the federal level that is a lot like again, there's no he flip-flops. He's another flip-flopper, right? And he doesn't even care about the political parties as much as like the whatever you want to call it. He was the one that was holding allegedly the Nazi flag during that first weekend of the Freedom Convoy. And so I have a friend doing an access to information request in the next coming days, and it's going to be asking about getting any form of correspondence, if there is any, if there was any between Brian Fox, Wayne Eyre, who's still our chief of defense staff, criminally, I don't understand how, and Bill Blair. So I'm asking around. I've tagged Chris Guy, I tagged Jeremy McKenzie, and the real Andy Lee, all of these people, investigative people, and I would, and so that they can share on their platforms. And then also on the underground, I'm asking for access to information requests from the government through a friend who's also seeking the truth. And any information on if there was any connection, any photos, any videos, any emails, any phone calls, anything that connects Marco Mendicino, Bill Blair, Brian Fox, and Wayne Eyre, and Brenda Lucky too. She was the head of the RCMP at the time, and then Jim Watson was the mayor at the time. So Jim Watson as well. Again, these are different party members, right? Some of these people that I mentioned are aligned with the Conservatives. Some of them are aligned with the Liberals. So again, this is a twofold thing, right? And who knows? Maybe he was even a friggin' aligned with the PPC, right? Like again, like it's not like you have to go based on the person. And like I said as well, like with Maxime Bernier, I voted PPC when Maxime Bernier was the party leader. I still got to search who the party leader is now. And so if this person is crazy, you know, or pushing stuff that I don't agree with or support, and I look in the background and the history over the last few years, I want to see how this person voted. I want to see what this person spoke on, what they spoke up about, you know, and all that stuff. And if it's not, you know, anything close to what Maxime Bernier was doing and saying, then I'm not voting PPC either. So, you know, and there's also other options. There's libertarian. There's so many other fucking options. And in fact, I'm more libertarian anyways, if you would look at my, but I don't identify as with politics, right? Like my name is fucking Dawn. This is an avatar. This is a multidimensional reality that's being projected on a flat plane of inertia. I am light in motion, vibrating, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know. And we're all supposed to be accessing our higher levels of consciousness. And a lot of people are not, like Bill Blair. He's saying Canada has committed, he's bragging about this as if it's not insane. Like Canada has committed more than $4 billion in military assistance to Ukraine since the war began. He's admitting this. So again, Russia has been talking about sanctions and or targeting people that support the money laundering proxy war that's going on in Ukraine right now. That's only profiting elitists and billionaires that are part of Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, JP Morgan, all of these fucking criminals. And the people that have shares and stocks in these companies, like Marco Mendicino, Bill Blair, and all these, and their family and their friends, Anita Anand. Yeah. Liar. So if any Canadians, if there's any retaliation on Canadian grounds by Russia or anyone based on what's going on there, that's literally like, again, Nuremberg, right? Like jail for life, Bill Blair, Wayne Eyre. You're all old, dated dinosaurs, even though dinosaurs possibly didn't exist, that are extremists. You are an extremist. Not Jeremy McKenzie. You are the extremist. You tried making him a political prisoner. You jailed him. You had all that fucking stuff. You made him into a prisoner and stuff like that because he's more of a man than you will ever be. Okay. And he's like a third your fucking age. So like, you know, he should absolutely be the one that's taking your job. Even Chris Sky, more of a man, more courageous, more you know, on the right side of humanity than, well, here too. Like G20 summits alone, like this guy should have been arrested. So you got a comment. I said, Canadians do not support this. Your lobbyist friends and family do. You are lying about Ukraine and getting Canada involved in a possible retaliation. Also, you could keep your position. I call them a narcissist criminal, right? So like, we just got to do more to peacefully, obviously, try to, you know, get these fucking psychopaths to, you know, to stop harming us. That would be nice. And so people might find this fun. Completely different topic now, but it's all related because these people have no idea what they're talking about in these journals.
And then
so this is Stanton Cree 420 again. Farmer gives a lesson on science to a reporter. And again, there's people that like, these are like OnlyFans, right? There's people that are reporters now or journalists that they're calling themselves, and they're not. And they're shitty at it. It's just that, like, you know, they're getting a little bit of fame and a little bit of money for it, you know, and stuff like that, and a little bit of clout. So they're doing it when, like, these are people that should be, like, either staying at home and raising babies or getting out into the fucking workforce and assisting the community, not lying to them and being retarded. Like, no offense, but, like, so Farmer gives lesson on science to a reporter because right now the education systems in the suburbs and the cities are way worse than in rural areas. Like people are actually like not on their friggin' smartphones, like scrolling through and playing video games and watching porn as children. There are people out on the farms raising animals, helping the communities, you know, doing all that stuff. way more educated now in rural areas because they're not getting forced this critical race theory woke stuff or this awake stuff, extreme left and right stuff.
And then with cows, people have this fear that cows are taking a lot of water. They use 10 bathtubs full of water. Their cow burps, their cow farts, all the carbon that's put into the air, and that they take a lot of land.
When we manage cattle with regenerative agriculture, they're actually the single best way to sequester carbon from the atmosphere into the soil, because by grazing off our plants and bringing the animals in, we're managing a solar panel. Our grass is a solar panel. It needs to be green and growing so it can capture sunlight and pull carbon from the air and put it into its roots. But those plants will stop doing that if they get too tall or if they get too short. And so what we do with our cows is they come in, they graze those plants off, so they reset it, they prune that solar panel so it doesn't get too tall, and then they leave and it rests. And that graze, rest, recovery is actually a cycle of pulling carbon from the air into the plant roots, and then when those plants get grazed, they actually release that carbon into the soil, and in turn pick up water and other minerals from soil microbiological activity, because our soils are living and alive instead of dead and sterilized. And so that cycle actually builds health, and year after year we're pulling more carbon from the atmosphere, putting it into our soil, which then produces more healthy soil, which then produces more grass, which then allows us to graze and produce more cattle.
Bingo!
70% of the Earth's land is land that is not suitable for tillage, which is to say it's inarable. It's just grassland, and you can't do anything else with it. And so if you just say, well, we're not going to do cattle anymore, any grazing livestock, you completely given up the ability to produce food on that acreage, and you've lost your scene.
Yeah, and that was a great video. That was a great video. And I could go on a list about, like, I could go on a tangent on that as well with the soil and aerating it, and stopping with like the what we've been doing with irrigation systems, like moving water away from areas that used to be once fertile crescents, even in Africa and in all these desert regions. These are areas that the trees were decimated, destroyed, and animal and plant life was all like removed from these areas. And it was all people that exploited resources, mining companies and stuff like that were brought in again by like elitists, okay, that they're not even from there, or they were hiring people from there that were stupid enough to ruin, no offense, to ruin their own fucking land in their own fucking country for like less than minimum wage, like again, like slave labor, like even children, literal like children, like toddler ages, stuff like that too, for millionaires to continue to be even more, billionaires and trillionaires to be even richer, right? Like people that are like they have yachts and they have supply yachts for their yachts. And they have their private jets that land on their yachts to take them out to any fucking place they want to go in the world to eat. And then they get flown back in. Like, and then there are like children that are starving to death and getting blown up in Palestine to support this. And so, ladies and gentlemen, where was I going with this stuff? Oh yeah, so farmers and land and stuff like that. We need to better manage it. Okay, we need, like, the soil needs to stay alive in areas that, and we need to, create life in areas that were, that once had life. And I've said this before, we need to we need to plant trees in these areas. Okay, and it's going to take generations. And that's just where we're at. Like, nothing is just like that, even though like Amazon fucking people would like to let you think that. Like, it's not, you need to like build things and it takes time. Like beautiful creations take time to build. Beautiful infrastructure takes time. And bring in animals and they actually bring life back to area to land that was once like also like there was no life. So even farmers in the US, they're saying that they're learning from, like, they're going back to their roots, they're going back to the way their grandparents farmed and stuff like that, and they're having their animals go into like so much different terrain and land that they hadn't gone to in like many decades, and because like there was nothing growing, and then they realized, wow, like bringing these cows or these goats or whatever like that into these areas, it's actually they're helping grow, like the grass grow and get that carbon exchange going and like that oxygen exchange, like all of that stuff, and it's creating more life in these areas. Like, you need to look at this for yourself. There's so many videos on this. And so people are starting to friggin' get back into the books and into sciences and into like the basics, because the education systems now and stuff like that, like we are so friggin' taught like not the reality of the world. And these are the people that are teaching us. I'm just gonna copy and paste into this browser instead of stopping sharing and resharing. So this is from Stanton Creek 420 again. God wanted grifting creeper preacher Kenneth Copeland to have Tyler Perry's jet. That was his title, or her.
Owners.
This-
That you won't.
God wanted him to have Tyler Perry's jet.
We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons.
If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing.
Good.
How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business. But
Isn't it the business of your donors?
listen,
Yeah.
I paid.
He's a psycho.
You kind of caught me off guard here. Okay.
Certainly. Well, if you'd like to come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off
I
guard.
love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listen to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh, yeah. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought over 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, my question then, okay, all right, but I want to get to the demons because people are very concerned about that comment.
Give me a chance here, Inside Edition. I love your eyes.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Vacation homes. First of all, vacation home. Big enough issue. Homes.
Getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
With a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
To those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
They're wrong. But when you go back to the Bible, it's full of wealth. And it's full of miracles and signs and wonders.
Praise the
It's
Lord.
full of goodness. And it's full of meanness. It's just full of hell on earth. Those are the demons, not the people. I love the people.
Thank you so much for your time
What's your
today. Lisa Guerrero.
Lisa,
Ew, I wouldn't-
God bless, Father bless Lisa today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to know her and to her team. I love Inside Edition. I love the people on it. And it thrills me to get a chance to have my face on Inside Edition.
Thank you
I
very
love
much,
you, girl.
Reverend. You have a nice day.
Yeah.
That man, I like even through the video creeped me out. I've seen that before. I've shared it before, but I'm just like trying to show like people like that are new to the channel. Like there are fucking like weird people. And before I even get into I'm gonna show a video on Jeranism. I haven't watched the full thing yet, but I bit into he's not trolling people, so that's not fair to say. But he's responding to people like Larkin Rose, and so is Dave Weiss, and so I actually got into it this morning as well. So like but he's deleted my comments. I've also anyway, so I'll get into that. But that guy, man, I would not trust him. He does not seem like a trustworthy guy. That preacher I'm talking about now. And I was going to talk about Dean Oatley and Ken. So I've been looking at videos. This is from pre-COVID, I think. But anyways, in 2020, where Dean Oatley put hit pieces out on like Jeranism and Mark Sargent, Dave Weiss, and Eric Dubé, countless others. And so again, it's not that this was over 4 years ago. I don't know if he's changed his tune on that yet. and so I'm going to look at his work. But because they are not, oh yeah, and Rob Skiba as well, like on that list. I was so surprised at that. I was so shocked that he would actually do a hit piece on Rob Skiba, and rest in peace. And again, like maybe he has changed his mind since, but and it was because like he was really like pushing like the Bible stuff, and saying that they were taking people away from God, and I don't think that that's true at all. Like I think that even myself, like he could likely do a hit piece on me too if he wants, right? Because I'm saying that Jesus Christ, as mentioned in the Bible, is a representation of the sun and the sun's path through the zodiac on its elliptical journey, and I share the proof and the facts, and so this has nothing to do with being removed from God. I said that I do believe in God. I do believe there's a creator or creators that created this creating cosmos, but is this being like omnipotent, you know what I mean? Like I have played video games. Other people have played video games, and there are people that have created video games, and that we're not gods. And so, and even with video games, I've said before as well, like someone, or people have like created video games like Mario Bros, for example, and these people are either dead or not playing the games anymore. And these games are being played by millions of people around the world, even now. And the experience with these computer games that have been programmed, they like the world that's being experienced, like this digital coding that's being experienced via the players that are being used, that it's within this realm, and the avatars, like everything within it's coded within that game, and nothing beyond what was coded in that game can be experienced. So even with this game as well, like this being a coded game, digital and cellular coding, everything that we experience, like that's why people say there's nothing new under the sun. It's because like this creation is coded. Can you add more coding in? I don't know. Would you need to refresh the game? I don't know. Anyway, I will get into Jeranism. And we're still trying to line up a date to discuss more stuff, just because my reception was so shitty, and I'm still not making enough money. I'm not making any money.
So this is the VIP
of these videos, but I don't look to. I want to get viral so that people within like the higher levels of government can get more awareness and attention, so that they're shamed and embarrassed enough to hire me back. That's literally like what I'm doing. It's like, hey, like you're doing a shitty job. I'm not. So everyone knows it now. Let's sign those freaking contracts. I got the pen out. Sign those contracts. The first thing I'll do is teach hostile environment awareness training to people within cabinet, because they don't know what's going on. I already liked it. Jeranism streamed 6 hours ago.
IP place here. Let's see if we go here with it. Nope, there. That's better. So that's basically the VIP Telegram. About them. Where is that coming from? Oh, I left it over there on the other table. Let me reach over there. Okay, that's better. We got some from Rockfin. Sweet. Let's see what else we got here. I think that's basically it. Oh yeah, and then links. Just as some links, easy to find stuff. What did I put here yesterday? I put something in there. Be 2 or 3. He maybe got rid of them.
Oh, I already maybe went to.
Here's
maybe went too far. Sorry.
The videos from Chris Pastor, the Telegram.
I'll just leave it play.
Wait. Also, these debates hosted. Oh, this is just his whole entire Platters playlist, which you can also find at the website. So that's basically that. I think I'm done with all of that. Let me close this. Well, we got to move it over here. And that's it. All right. So hope everybody's well. Oh, yeah. I want to talk about Larkin Rose real quick, because he's still doubling down. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. He's got issues. Let's just say that. And I want to give him an award. You want to give awards when awards are necessary, when they're deserved. You want to do it. So Larkin Rose, you are the winner of the worst Globe argument of all time. And that's hard to do, because I've heard some doozies. And this is the first. This is the worst. So we're going to go Larkin Rose just to show you that I saw this video yesterday. I'm like, man, the guy's apologizing. How nice. No, it's not that. It's not, what I thought. Not at all. But this is a video where he started. No. Hold on. Let me go to videos. Larkin Rose. Videos. I just think it's so sad when somebody can't, because now he's doubled down. Once you've dug your feet in, and people might say, oh, but flat earthers do that too. Well, we already switched. Remember that, please. So these guys have dug their feet in now, and he's like calling Dave Weiss names and stuff. I mean, just interesting that he would do that.
And Dave Weiss seems like the nicest person. Like, I think he would have slipped up by now if he wasn't a nice person, because he's done like thousands of hours now worth of videos, and so many others have as well. And he's just been like very respectful, and even people being such fucking annoying trolls to him as well. And he's been like way more patient and understanding and polite. Oh my God, than like so many people I know would have been.
Because again, he talks about like, oh, you don't want to call people names, and everybody's on a different part of their journey. And then when he starts talking about flat earthers, he wants to yell and scream it. You can tell he's absolutely triggered. But let me explain to you his explanation for how we have gas next to a vacuum, or why we have a high pressure next to a low pressure system. And did he erase Dave Weiss's comment? Let me check one more time.
I responded to that one as well.
I saw one, but there should be 2 or 3. He might be got rid of him. Here's Dirth's. Oh, maybe this one. So it says, when are you going to actually have, now listen, this is Dirth being polite. When are you finally going to actually have a live discussion with us and not yourself, so we can explain each point to you clearly? So what does he come back and say? He says, clearly explaining ridiculous bullshit won't stop it from being ridiculous bullshit. So he says, dear Larkin, how do you know if something is ridiculous bullshit?
I don't know why, like, that's my voice for people that are stupid. I don't know. That's just what I like. What kind of a reply is that? What kind of a reply is that?
Explained it all in your own words very clearly in your video. Please practice what you preach and research the globe belief just like you did everything else that you found to be false. And then he responds and says, you assume that I don't know the flat earth shit inside and out. Yeah. Well, I wonder why. You assume that if I was familiar with it, I would agree with it. But I am familiar and I don't, because it's profoundly fucking stupid. Soon I'll be releasing a video which goes through the ignorant flat earth dogma piece by piece, dissecting every clueless bit of it. I mean, you could just tell that.
And it's going to be, I'm going to quote Professor Dave and Neil deGrasse Tyson, because you're idiots.
This guy is triggered. He's a triggered.
I love them.
Triggered one. Yes. Oh God, did Larkin really pretend that he explained pressure next to a vacuum?
I will explain that I was an infantry officer for 15 years, and there's I'm like, my humor is very different than most women. And even in the career now with like international security analyst stuff, like I've done executive protection, the hostile environment awareness training piece, standing rapid deployment team course stuff, advanced firearms training, instruction, advanced driving instructions and stuff like that. So it's just like, so I'm sorry if I'm more crude than most women.
He doubled down on it. Here he goes again. Leaves are not gases. Very good. And they both have weight, which makes the analogy perfectly valid. No, it doesn't. Let me explain. If you open up a vacuum and there's a leaf on the ground, the leaf will not go into the vacuum. There's no mechanism for it to do that. If you open up a canister and it has gas, the gas will immediately fill the space of the vacuum.
Yep.
So you cannot equate them. They're not analogies. They're not similes. They're not even close. And that's not even the worst of it. The leaf one wasn't even his original argument. His original argument was black rubber balls. And he said, if we stack a bunch of rubber balls and we stack them up in the sky, that the ones on the bottom are going to have more pressure on them. Yes, true. And the one at the very top is only going to have its own weight, but no pressure on top of it. Okay, true. And then he says, so if that works and it doesn't fly off into space, then the same is true of gas, which is just wrong, which is the worst argument I've ever heard, because that means that you don't understand that gas does operate differently next to a vacuum than black rubber balls. Black rubber balls do not escape violently into vacuums. So gas does. So you win the award. But he keeps doubling down on it. It's just pretty sad. And he's not going to, these are the ones where you can already see what's happening here. He's now sitting, I bet you as we speak, He's sitting watching every Professor Dave video that there is. Everyone. Because that's how you get, when you dig your feet in, you're like, oh shit, I better come up with some arguments. You search YouTube and then who comes up first? And you start taking notes of a guy who's not even a professor, says he's a professor, and then also tells you that he has a script written for him. So again, some people just want something to believe in. They don't care where it comes from, I guess. But yeah, there was another, I thought Dave had like a bright colored one. I don't see it now. You might have got rid of it. So, Larkin, you win the award for the worst Glober argument ever heard, ever. Unless somebody can name one worse. I can't think of one. Can anybody think of one worse than that argument? I'm trying to think if I can think of. No, there's nothing worse than the black balls. And where was that anyway? Just so we can see it one more time. Just have to really milk it for everything it's worth. Because this guy's going to go off. He's stupid bullshit. And you feel like if I knew the bullshit, I'd be, well, you obviously don't know the answers, which is fine. A lot of us didn't. I remember when I first started this, I thought that the phases of the moon came from the earth. That's what I thought. So everybody has incorrect ideas, or we weren't taught right, or we didn't quite pick it up in school. I always thought that when we saw the shades of the phases of the moon, that each one was because the Earth's shadow was on the moon. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know where I got that from. I do see some other people that believe that, so I'm not the only one. But once I realized that I'm wrong, I don't dig my feet in and just keep repeating the same thing. I move past that. I find a new argument that works, or I certainly don't just stick to arguments that can be debunked as easy as rubber balls stacked on top of each other are equating or equal to gas. They're not. Again, for anybody who can't grasp this, they say that gravity is holding the entire mass of air to the earth. That's what they say. Okay. So somehow it's down here, it's being held down. And as it goes up, it gets less and less and less as a gradient, supposedly, which we know that to be true. I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But what we have a problem with is that any pressurized system next to, or high pressure next to low pressure, the high pressure is going to escape to the low pressure. So even if you have a gradient, and you have to remember, here's the dynamic thing about the Earth's atmosphere is that it's constantly being churned, right? Because heat causes gases to go up, and it's just constantly in motion. So there's really never a static moment of the gas atmosphere, which means gas is bouncing all over the place. Now, is it heavier at the bottom than it is at the top? Yes. Does that require anything? Yes. It requires some sort of containment. Or else your explanation for it is simply, well, the thing that we're trying to decide is exactly the only explanation or the only example of it. Because otherwise, how are you going to have a gas pressure without a container? You need to have something to contain it so that the gas can bounce off each other, and then it basically will settle down in kind of a density gradient way, but it's not exactly like a density gradient because of what I said, churning. There's constant movement going on, so there's never going to be like a layering perfectly of the atmosphere. It will always be moving. But the fact that it's always moving would cause the vacuum to lower. Basically, you can't have zero, or let's say it's 0.1, and you can't have that next to 0.01 because they will equalize. So the vacuum will basically lower itself. And that's one of the, definite arguments against the globe. There's a few of them. I think you can't live on a ball. I think it's hilarious. I think it's something that nobody would ever believe unless they were indoctrinated as children to believe it. Now, of course, people that are all adults.
And surprisingly, I'm just going to present the video that he's talking about too, just to show you that it's legit. Because it's not that I don't trust journalism. I do. I always like to verify things for myself, because there's things that I agree with that people say, and things that I don't agree with, or things that I just want to make sure that are legit, and so here's it's called Down in the Rabbit Hole. That's Dave Weiss's channel. Another one of his channels, great friggin' channel. Look it up. Oh my goodness. And so he says, so when are you finally going to actually have a live discussion with us and not yourself, so we can explain each point to you clearly? I know that you already know that. So I like this comment as well. 6 other people did as well. So maybe get on this page and help him out as well. Keep on saying as well. I don't know why. I need to stop. Clearly, and yeah, clearly explaining ridiculous bullshit won't stop it from being ridiculous bullshit. So, ridiculous. I said, I gave that a thumbs down. And then I said, he will never have a discussion with us because he's a coward. He keeps deleting my comments and rebuttals too, unless I cannot see them anymore because of the algorithms, because I was giving stuff about gravity and I'm still not seeing them come up. So like, I don't know if he's deleting them. Maybe he's not at all. Like I'm not claiming that, but like, it could also be like because of the algorithms, they make it where sometimes when you like videos, it doesn't come as a like. You know, you can see videos, it doesn't show that it's been seen or viewed. You know, comments as well, like comments that you just don't see. And it's also having to do with like people's search, like if they're on a safe search or a moderate search or whatever like that on their internet browsers without even knowing it. And my safe search is always off on my my laptop and stuff like that when I'm searching. And I'm on a VPN, and I connect out of different countries depending on what I want to look at based on what is censored and where. Anyways, discuss the curve. I even said there's no curve. It has been repeatedly debunked, and you can literally buy a Nikon camera and test it yourself, but you would rather be a keyboard warrior for years. It would take no time at all to test it. And then I said also, like, your insults are your only scientific arguments, because all he's doing is saying bullshit, fucking idiots, blah blah blah. Like, this is him again, like Larkin Rose. You assume I don't know the flat Earth shit inside out. I know Jen has already said that. You're like, flat Earth shit. Like, no, you don't. You don't even know the globe inside out. You assume that if I was familiar with it, I would agree with it, but I am familiar and I don't, because it's profoundly fucking stupid. Soon I'll be releasing a video which goes through the ignorant flat Earth dogma piece by piece, dissecting every clueless bit of it. Like, this guy is so delusional, and I bet you, like I even said, it's gonna be friggin' Neil deGrasse Tyson. And it's going to be fucking Professor Dave, not a real Professor Dave. And it's going to be videos that we've already repeatedly debunked. So he's going to look like a friggin' idiot again, but maybe not to his minions, right? But like within our group, like, you're not proving anything. And we'll share the videos from Professor Dave, like the things that he says, the 10 things that flat earthers say that we don't say, and that we repeatedly debunk. And Eric Dubay has videos on this as well that I've shared. Like, they're not seeing those videos, like the rebuttals, the Neil deGrasse Tyson rebuttals. People are not seeing these, you know. And what do you do? Just got to become lawyers, become doctors, become politicians, and get this information out.
Because they'll equalize. So the vacuum will basically lower itself. And that's one of the, definite arguments against the globe. There's a few of them. I think you can't live on a ball. I think it's hilarious. I think it's something that nobody would ever believe unless they were indoctrinated as children to believe it. Now, of course, people that are all adults that were indoctrinated as children are not going to say that now, because they're not going to realize it. They're not going to realize that that's the reason that they believe it. They're going to think that it's because of evidence and they've been shown these things, when really these things are just like milk and cookies. If you leave out cookies for Santa and your prediction is, well, I believe if Santa was coming, if Santa was the truth, then these cookies and this milk will be drank in the morning. You wake up in the morning, the cookies and the milk are drank, and therefore Santa is real. That's kind of a glober view of a lot of what they've done. They've left these cookie crumbs for you, and you found them, and you think, look, I plug these numbers into these formulas. Great for you. You've never come up with a formula. You've never figured it out. You just are told, here's the formula, here's the codes, here's the symbols. And then you plug in the numbers and you're like, look at me, I'm so smart that I follow what these guys say and I get the answer that they wanted me to get. Yeah, impressive. I don't see at all. Let me just try and sort this by newest. Okay, I don't see it here. I just wanted to read one more time his, and I remember who it was that, oh, here's the bold one. That's weird that we didn't see it before. So he said, you are literally talking about yourself. Your globe earth proofs are completely falsified. And your video from 5 years ago with the comments turned off has been completely debunked. You are the one that is afraid of the truth and refused to allow it to be presented to you. You came all the way to Anarchapulco and sat in the bushes and didn't watch any presentations where perhaps you may have learned something new. I addressed all of your points in your video, in my presentation. You were the only presenter at the conference that doesn't reject the globe model. 95% of the attendees were flat, and most of the 5% after my presentation came up to me and started asking questions. Take your own advice. Look where your brain is refusing to look. We are still waiting for you to agree to a structured debate on this topic. Larkin did answer him and says, that has been debunked with weird capital spelling. I guess this is like when you're retarded. This is what you do to somebody. Like, you just spell like this and makes them look dumb. And Larkin, he's got great tactics. He says, no, it hasn't. It has been whined about by ignorant, gullible flurfers. And having a debate with someone who can't follow even the simplest train of thought by wildly jumping from one piece of ridiculous dogma to another doesn't work. And if you think 95% of the people here think the earth is flat, that just confirms how profoundly bad at math flat earthers are. So the guy has now dug his feet in. Don't expect him to change his mind at all. At all. Weight as a directional force at rest or is in motion is the same measure of how strongly balancing forces tend towards equilibrium. Good point. I would agree with you. Now I've heard, would you say, is it okay to say that gas doesn't have weight unless it's contained? Because I do think that is correct. If you don't have containment, then you wouldn't be able to really measure the gas anyway. Right? I think that's correct. I like it being said that way. It's crazy how pockets of gravity, you watch out for the pockets of gravity. Come on. Oh geez, breaking Brenda, the final episode. Who's doing that? I'm not watching. I'm busy that night. And I don't see the balls. So again, you can find it in here if you go to his video and look for the chat that he was having with, I can't remember if it was Dave Sims at the beginning or that other guy. But let me see if I can find it. It's just the black balls is hilarious because once he's been pointed that out that it's wrong, can he just say, oh, you're right, I didn't even think about that. I still believe the Earth's a globe. I still think flat Earth is dumb, but you're right, I got that part wrong. When people can't do that, I don't know if you can call him a truther anymore. Dumb dog holder. No, it's dead dog holder McKeegan is my new top left candidate. New Moon, thank you very much. New Moon is here. New Moon has debated against Toon before, believe, right? Didn't you? Yeah, I think so. And he's somebody who used to be a believer who is no longer. Let me see what's going on here. We are losing the YouTube chat. It's not in there for some reason. What's going on here? Where's the YouTube chat? Weird. I don't know why that's not there. All right. So let's finish off this. We got David McBrath vehicle. We should find it here because it was right towards the beginning. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Daryl, we've got Spartan. We got somebody. I think these long comments. Jeez. Feel like writing stories, books, and I think that's it. We're at the bottom. I didn't see it. Anyway, there was one that had like 56 replies, and I'm not seeing it. 12, 14. No. 1, 2. Maybe he erased it. Maybe he did realize. Oh, we're going to go through this real quick. 3, 6. There was one that had like 56 replies. If that's gone, then he maybe have realized his mistake. 4, 2, 5, 1, 13. Let's see if this is it. Because you don't like the very simple and obvious fact that no one Larkin Rose. I don't see any of that. That was like 56 or more. See if he got rid of it. Will we get an apology video is the question. I say don't hold your breath. I don't see it. Yeah, maybe somebody could look. If you go back and watch my show yesterday, I was reading through the 56 comments and they're gone. So somebody erased it, whether it's Larkin or... Thank you very much, Upside Down Guy, for another fantastic membership. All right, so we got Larkin Rose. He is a lost cause at this point. I used to kind of like some of his voluntarious stuff because I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm a little different than an all-out anarchist just because I think... That's a great thing to have, and it's a great ideal to have, but it will never happen in our lifetimes. You'll never have anarchy because humans have a natural propensity to elect a leader. And what I mean by that is even if we went down to communities of 20 families, that they're going to have a representative. They're going to get together and they're going to say, hey, who would be the best representative? Hey, that guy's great. He does everything for everybody. He's always very helpful. He's very kind. He speaks well. And we would elect that person as the head. So you would always have government and you would need that. If you go back and look at the debate between Owen Benjamin and High Impact Flicks, Owen was kind of right when he kept saying, well, what's the age of consent? What he was getting at there is that is a rule that would always need to be implemented, even in a anarchist society. Or else what do we mean? That we're just going to let adults basically groom children and molest them? No. So this is what people fail to realize, that there is laws like that we all agree on, and that's why they exist. Same thing with, we say we don't discriminate, right? You're not allowed to discriminate based on age, but we do. Do we let 4-year-olds drive cars? Do we let 8-year-olds drive tractors? Do we let 14-year-olds drive a bus? No. because we discriminate against those children. And that's a decision that society has made. So when you say anarchy, if we got rid of all those rules, people would start to take advantage of children. And so that we do that to protect them. So I do believe that you want to have the right government in place. Now, the problem is this government is not the right one. They have far surpassed that long ago. And when governments get too controlling, then they have the worst people at the top. And when you're in control, you'll do anything to keep control, including fabricating events, buying off the media, buying off military journalists, using Project Mockingbird, infiltrating the media with the CIA. I mean, that's what happens. And when that starts going on, that's when it's time to end it and start anew. And that's our right. And that's what the Declaration of Independence claims, that we have not just the right, but the duty to end tyranny when it shows its ugly face. So we are at that point now. We'll see if they've actually feminized the men enough that that won't happen. We'll get to see soon. I believe we'll get to see soon because this government's just out of their mind. Have you seen the video of Biden, 2022, 2023, and 2024? It's insane. I wonder if I can find it. I wonder if it's 2022 through 2024. So if you didn't know, he gave a little stupid speech last night. And let's see if we can find. I bet you it's going to be tough to find. I probably won't even find it searching for it. So what somebody did is they took the 3 presentations and they put them next to each other. And he just says the same thing every time. Have you seen it yet? Does somebody in the chat know what I'm talking about? Let me look if anybody's seen it. Tell me if anybody's seen the video I'm talking about. And I wonder what it was called. It was called Biden 2022, 2023. I mean, it's crazy to see because it's like, what is going on in this world that nobody calls that out? Nobody cares. Like, he's saying the same speech. God, where is it? 20, you say the Union President. Anybody seen it? They make no sense. Yeah, I don't see it on there. Biden delivers State of the Union. Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the thing about YouTube search now. What a joke this has become. You can't. It's just mainstream bullshit after mainstream bullshit forced down your throat, and then they plug your nose while they're doing it too. You know, they put it down your throat, and then they like plug your nose, like, haha, bitch. You're like, man, this is not nice of you. Not very kind. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? No. Yeah, who could stand him? You gotta be kidding me. Let's go. We'll find Nathan Stolman is the one who played it today. I don't know where he got that video from, but we will find it because you just need to see it. It's insane. It's insane that it goes on and nobody cares. It's like, it's so fake. It's not even like, it's just like, get up there and say words that are the same words we've already said before. What is it on Lift the Veil under YouTube? Yeah. Believe so. My good buddy, Nathan Stolman. If you want to support him, go to truthclothing.io. He's got some great deals on his Truth merchandise. Lift the Veil. Used to do a fun show with him called Alt News Tonight. That was fun. All right. So we got this one, and I believe it's this video here. Yes, I'll bring it up for you in 1 second. Just got to watch this Biden part because it's literally the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The weirdest thing. Because how could you say this? I mean, even if I was going to do a presentation, like my presentation at different places, right? So I've been to North Carolina, I've been to Dallas, Denver,
Nice.
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and think about it. This one. Let's hope we can find the video. It's got to be right in here, right about there. Yes, I don't know who did the voice of Janet Yellen. That's really good. All right, where is Biden? Here we go. So check this out. This video is classic. And tell me how could this happen? It'd be like me going to all these presentations and all these conferences and giving the same speech.
Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products. And
check this out.
This is the State of the Union. How it's the same every year.
Every year. Watch this.
All of his speeches.
For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs.
Huh?
Build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. We're the only nation on earth that has always turned every crisis we faced into an opportunity. We're the only country that has emerged from every
crisis. It's the exact same words.
Stronger than we got into it. Here, COVID-19 no longer need control our lives. Today, COVID no longer controls our lives. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The only nation that can be defined by a single word, possibilities. Actually, I can define it in one word, and I mean this. Possibilities. Possibilities. I'm a capitalist. Look, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. Let's pass the PRO Act. Pass the PRO Act. Pass the PRO Act.
It's the same thing.
Look, and let's restore the full child tax credit. Restore that child tax credit. If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll see a field of dreams. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, on 1,000 acres.
I mean, they don't even
literally a field of dreams. Our infrastructure.
Listen to this. In any other job in the country, if your job was to write speeches for somebody and you wrote the same speech
Oh my God, fired.
twice, you'd be fired. 3 times? What's going on?
Like,
who would be the speechwriter that would think this is okay to do? It's just the same exact words.
It's ranked 13th in the world. Used to be number 1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. Began to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school. We're also replacing poisonous lead pipes. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of cancer.
Wow.
We're going to do it by buying American. Buy American products. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy America.
This is a good
Buy America.
Yeah, I'll post a link.
Buy America.
Help working people and left no one behind. We're building an economy where no one's left behind.
I'm watching this with you. Like, this is a good break. I'm not gonna play the whole friggin' thing. It's over 4 hours long, but like, this is a really good video edit.
We leave no one behind. I get it. I get it.
Just the same thing.
We pay more for the same drug produced by the same company in America than any other country in the world. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere.
So I can't even put a finger on what they're doing here. Like, they clearly
You're the president.
are putting Trump in. Clearly. And so I hope people recognize that, all those that think that he's some sort of savior. He's not going to save us. He just might be a little bit more hard to control for the deep state or whoever's pulling off the behind the scenes move. Now, what does that mean, Jaron? Are you saying that we are dealing with a conspiracy? I am saying that. I do believe that most things are a conspiracy, except for, I don't know, if does conspiracy have to be illegal, or does it just have to be to get one over on you? I'll look up the definition right now as we continue this video.
In the world, insulin costs about $10 a vial to make.
Conspiracies are illegal.
It costs the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin.
Keep saying the same thing.
At $35 a month. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. I want to Indonesia. We'll build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
I can't listen to that anymore. I think there's some sort of mind control in there that makes me want to pay taxes and vote blue. So it's ridiculous, and Trump is close behind. Trump's going to win. I mean, there's just nobody who can vote for this guy again.
And people keep saying in Canada, and it's really and first of all, I'm Canadian. I'll keep reiterating that. And the reason why American politics is so important to Canadians is because it directly impacts us. Like we're a lot more similar than people think or believe or understand. And what happens in your country impacts us in so many different ways because we're allies, and we're also connected, right? We're geographically speaking as well. We're just north of you. We're on the same continent. So if anything was to happen here, like any invasion, like within the continent, I'm even including Mexico in this, right? Like it would have to be like a unilateral, whatever you want to call it, response, depending on the situation. And people need to vote. And so, like I'm saying, like, look at the friggin' parties. People say like, oh, it's a wasted vote if you don't vote left or right. And so don't vote at all. You know, or, oh, like, I hate this person so much that I have no choice but to vote for this person. That's so stupid, right? Like, no offense. People should be voting, in my humble opinion. We absolutely should be, like we have a voice. We're supposed to be using it. And that's another reason why, like, people are not paying attention to politics or what's going on within friggin' cabinet or Senate or policies being put in place is because they're completely oblivious to it and they're unaware and they're just ignoring it. And just like I've said, just because you bury your head in the sand doesn't mean that the fucking tide's not going to come in. All right. So like that to me is a stupid comment. You need to vote. Okay. But don't vote for stupid people. Don't vote for criminals. Don't vote for pedophiles. Don't vote for people that like cheat on their wives repeatedly, like don't, like all of that stuff. There's so many different things, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like don't support certain behaviors. You know, we like just don't. And so don't vote for Pierre. Don't vote for Justin. Don't vote for Maxim if you think he's extreme, even though you're not listening to his interviews or his debates or his platform. And you, like, even with Dr. Jordan Peterson, like his interview with him was incredible. And people should see it, right? And people are not informed, and they're just going off of the freaking clickbait stuff that the propaganda media is pushing, calling him a racist, and they're like, oh, I can't even tolerate his name. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you're getting visibly upset over things that are not even real, and it's very much nonsensical, right? Like, you're like, he's not an extremist, he's not a racist, he's none of these things that you're saying. And so, like, you're just living in make-believe land, right? So, like, all this victimhood and all this stuff that you're dealing with right now, all this trauma is, like, fucking not real. In your head, it's real. But I'm not going to validate that because it's not true, right? And in fact, me not validating that is better for both of us, right? So we need to clarify things. And so I'm likely going to vote, like, I'm gonna look at all the platforms. Again, I'm going to look at the leaders, and I'm going to go off the best one. And if it's libertarian, I'm going to go libertarian. And libertarian, like, the odds of them being the majority government, very low, right? But, like, people should stop voting liberal and conservative now because it's not working. It's not working. We've got good options in other parties. We really do. And we have before, and we let it go away. And unfortunately, too, we've had people that are in conservative parties and in liberal parties, great people, and they're being passed up for part-time drama teachers and political careerists. So if you don't vote, it doesn't matter. You're just getting, like, low voter turnout, and then you're getting, you know, like, more push for, like, the surge of immigration to come in. It's all short-term, temporary workers and students and stuff like that, all short-term, all surging the cities and then pushing the suburbs out into projects and decimating our trees and our soil and our heritage sites and our church areas and stuff like that. And it's going to be short-term, right? And then again, like as people are coming in, even more people are leaving with their families, and it's gonna be a nightmare in the next couple of years. Like, I've been saying this, and it's so fucking frustrating. But not voting is not an answer, because you're just allowing there to be more corruption and just more things to be overlooked. So that's not the answer. And if you don't want to vote liberal or conservative, I get it. And and NDP too, I get it. Jagmeet Singh, not the answer either. NDP, not the friggin' answer either, especially with that guy in. But I would vote NDP if they had a better friggin' leader in and a better platform. Same thing for the other parties. I keep on saying this, but, like, we just, like, it's election season. It's boring. It's old. It's annoying. It's way too overinflated, our friggin' government. And we don't have enough people that are working within communities to assist within communities, right? We need decentralized government and much less interference.
The economy's in dire straits. Food is like twice as expensive as it was 3 years ago, and they try and tell you, like, oh, the inflation's like 6%. 6%. That means if I used to spend $100 on food, now I spend 106. Not if I used to spend 100, now it's 200. Your percentages are off. By the way, definition of a conspiracy is the act of conspiring together and an agreement among conspirators, a group of conspirators. So I do not think that it has to be illegal. I think it has to be detrimental to the people who it's being perpetrated on. But let me see if we get another definition. Let's go to Wikipedia, see what it says. Conspiracy, also known as a plot, is a secret plan or agreement between people called conspirers or conspirators for an unlawful or harmful purpose. So it's unlawful or harmful, right? Something that takes away from. So if you really think about it, everything is a conspiracy. So, like, if you think that car manufacturers,
the Emergency Act was unlawful, so that's a conspiracy. So people were saying that I was a conspiracy theorist. That's a good point, Jaren. I'm not a fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm calling out the conspiracies, and because that was unlawful, there's so many different things that were unlawful and untrue and so many different things. And it was people that are in government are fucking pushing. Yeah, I like that.
try and come out with a price that's fair for you and then also gives them a little profit. That's not how it works. They conspire together to create a price that seems alluring. And if everybody's kind of priced around there, it's all done. Like, I talked to a gas station guy one time who said that the corner gas station across kitty cornered to him. They would talk to each other, and like they would say, okay, you today be 4 cents ahead of me. Tomorrow I'll be 8 cents in front of you. The next day, 4 cents. So they're conspiring. That's what it is. That's a conspiracy. Two people who have the ability to get together and discuss something and create something that's detrimental to you, meaning that gas prices don't need to be that high, but yet they're making them that high.
Oh, that's
so
another
everything
one.
is a conspiracy. I worked for CVS drugstore and Long's Drugs. Always a conspiracy because they don't want you to know the price that they pay for the product. For instance, let's say we've got Tylenol on the shelf at $9.99. Great. Box of Tylenol, $9.99. And then we have the CVS brand next to it. Now the cost on the CVS brand might be 87 cents. So if really they were just trying to make a little bit of profit, whatever, you would market at $2 or whatever. What do? They market at $9.49 because now it's cheaper than the Tylenol. So it entices customers, but now the profit margin is ridiculous. And that is a conspiracy to me. It's people trying to get one over on you.
Yeah.
You don't know those things, so you are buying them at a price that you might think is fair, but it's really not. It's really eye gouging or price gouging. So there's lots of conspiracies everywhere. You can imagine anytime two people get together and conspire to pull one over on you, that's a conspiracy. And there's everywhere. Now, what there is right now, if you haven't noticed, oh wait, let's finish this video. Sorry, get ahead of myself.
And before he even gets to that too, so even with the conspiracy, like I'm saying, like Brendan Miller, who was the lawyer, like for the defense for the Emergency Act hearings, who I emailed so many different like links and data and stuff like that. But like with Brian Fox, like Brian Fox, there's a lot of strong evidence, so much so that Brendan Fox literally like showed him like his picture and everything like that, and asked Marco Menincino, who was a public safety officer at the time, if he knew who he was, and he wouldn't even answer and all this other stuff, and they were covering it up, right? And then so Brian Fox, like on the right, like he was threatening, and he said that, this is defamation and stuff like that, and and he would seek legal action if he didn't retract that. And so Brendan Miller, like this guy was so freaking, like he's such a fucking man, like a man in a suit. Like there are men in suits too, right? Like it's not just the friggin' the cowboys and the lumberjacks and the friggin' it's not just anyway, it could be them too. But he was like, oh yeah, well then come. He's like, I'm offering. He's like, and I wish he would have been able to subpoena him, but he's just like, come to the Emergency Act, like as a witness and state your case and stuff like that. Like he invited him multiple times. Yeah, Brian Fox, you want to deny? Then come, right? And he didn't. Obviously, he refused. So like, if you have nothing to hide, why did you not go? Right? Jeremy McKenzie went from friggin' prison as a political prisoner, by the way, because he's not a pussy either. But like, so Brian Fox, if you have nothing to hide, you would absolutely have went. And so I'm just saying. And so Marco Menincino wouldn't answer that. He needs to answer that. That is an absolute conspiracy, because Brian Fox was the one that was holding the swastika, the Nazi flag, on the 29th of January, 2022, during that first fucking weekend, and tried to incite a riot, just like the Ray Epps fucking dummies. And here in Canada, and I called it from the beginning. I let people from fucking all levels fucking know. And obviously not to engage, to make it peaceful, because that's exactly what he wanted, right? Because if anyone would have reacted to that, because he was trying to get an emotional response in people, they would have got arrested. They would have got dummied by the in-beds and the plants and stuff like that were in the crowds. And it's just like, what is your problem? And this is a fucking crisis actor from Enterprise. Like, he's a loser. He's a millionaire. And again, this is what I'm saying. There's people that are so entitled and bored in their lives that they're ruining our lives, and where our lives are already hard enough because of you. And you're literally making it even worse just because you're fucking bored. Yeah, like I just can't. I'm just so frustrated with this stuff. And so did Wayne Eyre, who is the chief of defense staff, does he know who this guy is? And does he have any correspondence with him? Because how big is this? How big, how high up does this go? I would like to know.
This building installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. We'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair. Does anybody really think the tax code is fair? 55 of the Fortune 500 companies.
It's the same speech.
$8 billion in profit and paid zero in federal taxes. 55 of the largest corporations.
I said it's making me want to vote left. It's making me want to watch Savannah Guthrie tomorrow morning, and Hoda, and who's the fat black guy who was fat, now he's skinny, then he's fat again. Al Roker. Al Roker, great man, great. Him and Lester Holt, some of the best men there ever was in existence. All right, so anyway, don't pay attention to this circus that's going on. I don't recommend voting. I think that the votes count. Who knows? But clearly they have control of both parties, and they can kind of get their ultimate goal to come to fruition, regardless of who's in office. And if we look back, I'm still somebody. I'll tell you where I'm a baby truther. You want to hear my baby?
And this is what I mean. Like I respect his points too. And there's a lot of people that I respect that agree with him on the non-voting thing. So again, I could be wrong. I'm just giving my arguments and my points is that like by not doing that, you're allowing there to be again like less accountability, less people are aware talking about this. So it's making it even more difficult to have these discussions that are controversial, and so they could be more rigged, all of that stuff, and it's not working, right? Like the low voter turnout, and people were held more accountable when there were higher voter turnouts, and you can see this in so many different countries, and see like the actual first world type countries with better systems of governance in place. These are ones that have higher voter turnouts and trends and stuff like that. So is it a correlation does not equal causation? I know, but like it's just interesting to look at. And then also you're also proving a point and showing a message that way, right? Instead of going out with these protests that again are incited by these fucking idiots that are in cabinet that are just exploiting us, right? And this is all just like baiting us. If you're not voting left or right, but you're voting like independent, right? Like in the US, you have that option. It's like, so if people are actually taking a stance and actually on the record voting for anyone but Republican and Democrat right now, that would be a huge message, right? And so that's just, I don't know, it is what it is, but I would say like at this point, like I voted PPC in the last election because of Maxime Bernier, like I said, and a lot of people I know did, and that shared a huge message. I really do think that is what really did stop and make people from the conservative side really look more into the mandates and the restrictions and the measures and the forced inoculations, because before that election, look at what was being pushed by the conservatives, right? Like this was 100% needed to be vaccinated, to be in cabinet. They were bragging about that. You needed to be vaccinated in order to attend conservative rallies and meetings and stuff like that. And as soon as the elections hit, way more people, and they tried to shut that out in the media too and censor him even more. But like he like it was so many more people voted PPC because he was saying he was going to end the mandates and all that stuff, and that was a message. So this would be like another message, I think, if more people voted like libertarian or you have options. And again, if it's not on your polling list, all you do is what I did last time, like because again they try to remove it from the ballots, they try to make it a non-option, but it's your fucking option as a Canadian, and I know that because I know my rights. And so I literally went to the ballot box after I said, excuse me, PPC is not on the list, and so I'm going to vote federal, and it won't be a provincial or a district friggin' vote. It's going to be federal, and I'm like I put in PPC and I put in his name, Maxime Bernier. And I put it in my fucking self so that they couldn't burn the friggin' ballot or put it in their pockets or put it in the garbage. Because that happens too.
Baby truth or belief? Are you ready for Jaren's baby truth or belief? Baby truth or belief. Brought to you by Pfizer. My baby truth or belief is that, whether you believe it or not, I think JFK, while he wasn't...
Well, I don't believe in anarchy at all. And so people that believe in anarchy, then you're totally accepting that there would be no punishment or form of recourse if anyone raped and murdered your children or your wife or your parents and stuff like that. And so like I'm totally on board with like a system of governance being in place. It's needed for any developed societies, more evolved societies. But these people need to be able to be trusted, and definitely not as large as they are right now with what's in place. But we need people to assist with the collective, with the community, because of the higher population and stuff like that as well. And so we're just at that point now where we absolutely need a system of governance in place. Look what just happened in Ottawa, not yesterday, but the day before or whatever it was this week. Mass stabbing from people that were in Canada for less than a year. It's so tragic. And so like, we need to have like rules and regulations and people in place within the legal system and stuff like that, and law enforcement and first responder types like firefighters and stuff like that as well. Like I have friends that are firefighters that they risk their life on a regular basis for Canadians. And and so it is what it is. Like again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just my opinion on that. We absolutely, in my opinion, we need a system in place because there are people on the extreme left and right ends of the behavioral spectrum that are predator types and or assist the predator types, and for survival or whatever reason, or sociopathic tendencies, and they will try to exploit the majority.
the greatest guy, and while he diddled with the
And what we're seeing now.
he did like a cock every once in a while. JFK was I believe, tried to right some wrongs and was quickly dispatched for it. Now, how do we know that? We can go to, if you go to JFK speech of 1963 at the UN, something that's pretty hidden from people usually. And you have to find the right one because there is some speeches that have it cut out on purpose. You'll see here, this one's 17 minutes and 20 minutes. And that's because...
Oh, I'm just having a, I don't know if anyone can see on Rumble or anything like that. I'm just having a bit of a discussion with November. And yeah, and we can agree to disagree. It's been very civil discourse. And I'm saying, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't know in the big picture. I'm just giving my opinion based on my experiences and stuff like that and my own things. And so like, it's not that and so, yeah, I just,
one of these, let me see which one is the right one. I believe C-SPAN has the right.
Must go on.
Let me show here.
Conditions of man.
And even with I've said this before, like I have family members literally that have voted completely different. Like I've sat at the table with my family and where family literally had voted NDP, conservative, liberal, and PPC, and we love each other and we respect each other. And there's very strong arguments as well for like either side, because they're not like they were going off the platform and stuff like that more. I was going off the person, like I was saying, and what their platform was as well, but the person especially. And so like I still like, you know, I still respect them. I still love them. And I get where they're coming from because like, again, like even with the PPC, like there are things that some people do and say that are aligned with that party that are fucking idiots. You know what I mean? And yeah, they do sound crazy. But it's the same thing with the conservatives, right? And like there's very strong, good points to their platform. Absolutely. But then there's also, well, what about the fact that they're, you know, like supporting what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Palestine? And what about the mandates thing? And, you know, and then there's discussion with that as well. And then the NDP as well, right? Like if you exclude Jagmeet Singh, again, if you exclude the friggin' morons that are like representing the party, unfortunately, there's so many better people out there that could. There's strong arguments. And there's even strong arguments for like the liberal platform. Not anymore, again, because of what they're aligned with, right? But, you know, but at the time there were, you know, and it's so like there's been pros and cons. And unfortunately, it's the extremes, you know, that are aligned with parties that are being shown on TV. And so like, I'm like, all of our parties look crazy. So I'm all of our parties look crazy. But, and then there's also our parties also, there's also strong arguments to support them as well. But there's just way too many other things right now that are leading people not to support them. And so I hope that makes sense as well. Probably not, but.
And however,
it is what it is.
Not a task for the few.
I got to fill up my coffee.
It is the task of all nations. Acting alone.
Let me see here.
Acting in groups. Ground testing. With adequate inspection and enforcement.
I think here.
We must continue to seek agreement on a freer flow of information.
Yeah, I think it's right here.
Or miscalculation. We must continue to seek agreement on safeguards against surprise attack, including observation posts.
So just to tell you what basically what's said here is he says, and we need to work together with the Russians and do a joint mission to the moon. This is literally 2 months, maybe 2 weeks. What was the date? It doesn't say airs November. No, I want to look for what date was the speech. They're not going to tell me. I believe it was 2 months before. So this was done in, you know, September or something. And he gives a speech basically saying that we need to come together, that there's no reason to have countries that are separated when we're talking about the advancement of science. I'll find you the exact part. And they cut it out of one of the speeches. You can't find it in a lot of them because of what he says. So we'll
are the foes of every nation.
Find it
These
here.
nations for new markets.
Come on,
the
right
world renounces the competition of weapons.
No.
If some members are allowed to prevent it,
no,
on its successes and learning from its failures,
no,
solving them peacefully. For too long, both of us have increased our military budget, exploited from without. On a statement of principles,
no,
we must continue to seek agreement.
No.
In west to east.
Come on.
Purposes.
Oh, you see that cut right there?
An arrangement to keep weapons of mass destruction out of outer space. Let us get our negotiators back to the negotiating table to work out a practicable arrangement of sovereignty.
So what I was getting at is I think Kennedy was shot. I do think that they killed him. I believe he died that day. Was it what they told us? No. Was the Zapruder film true? No. It's all fabricated. But I do think that he died and that there was a conspiracy against him. Oh, that reminds me. I got to tell you something. I forgot I was going to tell you this. I got a story. I'm going to write that down. Okay. I'm going to tell you that next. I believe there was a conspiracy against him. Now, here's why I'm saying that, is that I don't think there's any president since him that has been on the side of the people. I believe every president since then, LBJ, Nixon, Carter, you name it, Bush, Bush Jr., Bush Sr., Reagan, Trump. There's been no president that's on the right. There's been no president that is truly conservative. There's been no president that has pushed the advancement of gun rights. There's been no president that has pushed anything other than the agenda of the elite. So, I mean, we saw it even with Trump. Trump may be like, oh, look, he's a hero. He speaks out. He says what he wants. But look what they moved through during his presidency. So I don't think that we've had a president since Kennedy.
By resolution of this assembly, the members of the United Nations,
Let me see real quick.
surely we should explore whether the scientists and astronauts of our two countries.
Okay, let's listen to this. Oh, they cut it. See?
Is more enduring.
Look at that.
Two countries.
They just cut out his part about the astronauts. I mean, it's like, why do they do things like that? It makes it so obvious. This is why he died. That part of the speech, and we'll go watch it right now in a second. That part of the speech that they cut out of here. Look, he starts talking about astronauts and it gets cut.
Petition. Why should the United States and the Soviet Union, in preparing for such expeditions, become involved in immense duplications of research, construction, and expenditure? Surely we should explore whether the scientists and astronauts of our two countries
cut,
and that freedom is more enduring.
And they just go to, funny. So where was that at?
If anyone's just tuning in at the beginning of this video, I don't even know how long it's been. Oh my God, almost an hour and a half. I was sharing like other videos, other content, current events, and then ran this because it's very entertaining.
10 minutes.
I'm just letting it run.
Go back one here, and it's going to be this one that's correct then.
Stronger than error.
Maybe not.
United States and the Soviet Union.
Hey, thank you very
In
much.
preparing for such expeditions,
Upside down guy, maybe.
become involved in immense duplications of research, construction, and expenditure. Surely we should explore whether the scientists
It's going to cut this one too.
and astronauts of our two countries.
Unbelievable. I've found the whole speech. It is on YouTube somewhere. Let me see. We'll go back one. Yep. Go forward. There, go back one. This one, JFK, UN, generally. This one looks, full speech. Okay. Why the other one's cut out there? Who knows? 10 minutes. Here.
Construction. There can be no doubt about the agenda of further steps
It's here.
or challenge. But I would say to the leaders of the Soviet Union and to their people that if either of our countries is to be fully secure, we need a much better weapon than the H-bomb. A weapon better and more on the means of resolving them peacefully. Our defense around the world will be maintained. Is back to the negotiating table. Territorial rights in outer space or on celestial bodies, and declare that international law and the United Nations Charter will apply. Why, therefore, should man's first flight to the moon
Listen to this. This is why he was killed.
be a matter of national competition? Why should the United States and the Soviet Union, in preparing for such expeditions, become involved in immense duplications of research, construction, and expenditure? Surely we should explore whether the scientists and astronauts of our two countries, indeed of all the world, cannot work together in the conquest of space, sending someday in this decade to the moon, not the representatives of a single nation, but the representatives of all of our.
That's it. You don't say that, bitch. You get shot for that. Don't you ever say we're going to be together.
And people are like, because sometimes I joke on my videos that like I could get suicided, you know, by Hillary Clinton, all that, just as jokes, right? Because of what I share. I'm only saying it for anyone to say that's like that makes me paranoid. Like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I'm giving you examples of people that I'm joking about. Well, that's not a joke, but like you dark humor in order to get through this shit. But like, I'm giving examples of people that were literally murdered and or died suspiciously, repeatedly, for sharing the exact same information that I share and have been sharing for years, right? And so like I don't see how people can get like I joke about it. It is what it is. A lot of people do, so it's like it's not just me. Obviously, there are like millions of us at this point that are still alive and well, and so it's just funny to joke. But maybe I don't know. But it's not paranoia. It's just like it's a possible outcome that people are just very much aware of in this community. And it does happen, right? And people do meet, untimely ends and stuff like that, and have even within the truther community, even within the last few years, and there's even been like commemorating videos that were created. I got to take a look at it again. That where people put together, people within the community, that have passed away just since 2020 alone, and quite a few people
together with them.
All these and other new steps towards peaceful cooperation may be possible. Most of them will require on our part full consultation with our allies, for their interests are as much involved as our own.
Bill Cooper.
And we will not make an agreement that they're...
So what was I getting at there? I believe that every president since him has known what could happen. They probably show them like the real film, the real Zapruder film. Like, hey, did you ever see this before? And they just show like a bunch of guys run out and like basically behead him right in the middle of the street. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, I'm not going to. Oh, call mine my P's and Q's. Thank you very much. So again,
oh my God, I would love to get more information on this. This is alleged because I have not heard of this one yet. Multiple other ones as well, where they said that people committed suicide, where there was it was a shotgun to the chest, hanging from a tree, and no gun in sight. So let me figure that one out, right? Like, I just don't know. So on that topic, Don, did you see the Mary Mahoney part in the stream? The real intern that Clinton was harassing that got shot 7 times in the face of Starbucks. Crazy.
He trusted implicity.
That's true. Crazy.
Did not want power. He trusted implicity. Who did not want power? Anyway, he did want to, and here's why. If you go back and listen to the tapes of him and the NASA guys, him and Webb, he knew we couldn't go to the moon. And he was pissed because he's like, so we're not going to go to the moon in my presidency. Well, what are we going to do? And they're like, oh, we don't know. We're going to do research and stuff. So he knew we couldn't go. So then he said, okay, let's work together with the Russians. Well, that wasn't going to go over well because they had this whole plan of basically, well, if we fake it, the Russians are going to tell one story, we'll tell another. I'm sure that this was agreed upon because there's no way it just happened like that. If you don't know, ask any Russian what they learned in school, and they'll tell you that they learned that they were the first one in space. They were the first man in space, first woman in space, first animal in space, first satellite in space, first orbit in space. They won all the firsts. Yeah. And then the United States was just the one who went to the moon first. Now, both countries get to tell a story to their people that improves prestige, improves your feeling of nostalgia, or not, your sense of American pride or Russian pride, whatever you want to call it. Because then you've got the Russians who tell the story, well, we were first in everything, and then the stupid Americans went to the moon, which we knew there's no point in going there, and they wasted all this money going to the moon. Big deal. We did all the first things. And the United States tells the story that, yeah, they were ahead of us in some things, but then we went and won the ultimate victory by getting to the moon. Now, if that were true at all, at any point, they would have gone back. They would have bases there. They would have some sort of setup there. They don't have anything there because they've never been there. So all this lie, and you look at all the presidents since then. I mean, how has there been no president to move gun? The only president that was going to move gun rights was Reagan. And then when was Reagan's press secretary shot? Which was obviously you know what to say about that. It's a French fry, if you will, a French fry to the AI. I said French fries. It was a French fry. Thank you. Ronald Reagan and what was the name of the law that he has? The Brady bill. Brady shot. Let's see when that was. It must have been right towards the beginning of his president. In 1981, John Hinckley Jr. shot and wounded Brady during Hinckley's attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, which occurred 2 months and 10 days after Reagan's inauguration. So 2 months after Reagan was inaugurated, his press secretary was shot in the head, and then they changed everything that he had run on this whole idea of he was going to move gun rights and this and that. Then his press secretary gets shot, and then they go and they implemented Brady bill and all that stuff. So they actually took gun rights away. So we have presidents on the right taking gun rights away, right? Did Trump move any kind of biblical
Canada too.
idea or any kind of a Republican or any kind of a conservative idea. No. He's as into the new fluffy, love everybody kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be putting this whole stream through, so I want to read this. So then locked the Starbucks behind and stole nothing from the safe. He interrogated some random black guy for 54 hours straight who confessed and got life but recanted. Interesting. Just wanted to make sure that people saw that you corrected the spelling. Days before she was going to out Clinton. I can see that.
So that was the Brady Bill. If you haven't seen that shooting, I mean, it looks pretty insane. But again, that's to you. You want to check out the flash flood event that happened. The flash flood. You can check out the Brady Bill. Anyway, so that's that. And let me tell you what happened today. I'm going to show you on my phone if I can send myself a. So here's a story. Ready to hear who you don't want to do business with? Now, this company had every chance to not have me do this right now. But sometimes you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Is that what they say? Or you mess with the bull, you get the balls? I think that's what it is. So we've been trying to become more self-sustaining. We've got a couple, tomatoes in the backyard. We've got cucumbers. And then we bought some trees. We wanted some trees, some fruit trees. And there's a company out there that does nice fruit trees. They deliver them perfectly in a box it's ready to be potted. It's like ready to be implanted into the ground. It's got a nice little root ball. You get it in a couple days. You put it in your backyard. You dig a hole. You put it in. You secure it. Now, the great thing about this company is that they don't give you the trees brand new. Did you know that it takes 15 years to get an avocado off a tree? So who the hell wants to wait 15 years? So what this company does is they graft the trees. So when they ship it to you, you're getting a 15-year-old avocado tree, meaning you put it in your backyard. In 6 months, you have avocados. So great idea, right? So as I bought these trees, I said, well, I want to tell my audience about it, but I want to make sure that they work first. I want to make sure that they're growing nice and everything's going well. So the other day we're looking outside and man, the peach trees are doing great. The apple trees are looking good. We're like, this looks good. I'm going to tell my audience. So then I went inside and I went to their website. I'm like, did they give any kind of a deal? Do they have any kind of affiliate thing where if I'm going to mention them, maybe I put a link and then I get some kickback. So I go look, they do have a program. I sign up for it. Then I get an email saying, we've looked at your material and we don't see a fit here for your company or our company and your audience. So I responded and it said, if we overlooked something, please let us know how you plan on advertising. So I wrote back to her and I said that I bought 4 trees from you and I've planted them and it's been like 2 months. They took great hold. They're budding. They've got blossoms and I want to show my audience now. And I'm going to give the link so that they can go buy trees from you. So I thought that for sure she would accept me. You know what she responded next? No, we've decided to stay with our decision. And I responded to her. I said,
okay, I'm just, you don't see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to show you my conversations with ChatGPT again, just to break it up. And by the way, if you like this video by Jeranism, again, like I'm not sponsored by him or any of that shit, I'm getting no money for this, but he has so many great videos. And so Jeranism, as mentioned a million times, he has countless videos out. So it's all over the place. So he's on YouTube, he's on Rumble, he's on BitChute, I think as well, Rockfin. And he has like thousands of videos probably now, at least hundreds. And so and they're all amazing, right? So you think this one's amazing? His other ones are quite nice. My ChatGPT, because I showed people from it yesterday. I was asking things like how far is Alice Springs from the North Pole, saying that it's approximately 8,600 miles in a straight line. I asked what the diameter of the Earth is. Give me approximately this. 7,918 miles. And I say, show me the ecliptical path the sun takes above us. Wasn't able to. So anyways, I just continued on with this. So I said, the diameter of the Earth is the same distance as Alice Springs from the North Pole. And, oh no, I shared this yesterday too, actually. So, and then ChatGPT, you're absolutely correct. The diameter of the Earth, which is approximately 12,742 kilometers, 7,918 miles. And again, depending on what you look at, right? So like ChatGPT is saying this, but like there's other agencies that are saying different. Anyways, is indeed very close to the distance from Alice Springs, Australia to the North Pole, which is approximately 8,610 miles. Thank you for pointing out the connection. And I asked, what other city or town falls directly below the sun's path over the Tropic of Capricorn? Another city that falls directly below the sun's path over the Tropic of Capricorn is Windhoek, the capital city of Namibia. The Tropic of Capricorn passes through Namibia, and Windhoek is one of the major cities that lies very close to it. So then I asked, how far from the North and South Pole is Windhoek? Windhoek, the capital of Namibia, is approximately 22.56 degrees south latitude. So again, like not exactly 23.4 degrees south latitude, but still like right over the Tropic of Capricorn, right? So like, you know, and so like that clearly shows you like that the sun again is local. It's way smaller than what we're being led to believe, and I'll explain why as well. I'm hoping that this is making sense to people, because this is astronomical mathematics and it is very complicated. And with the Tropic of Capricorn and Cancer and the ecliptical sinusoidal path that the sun takes, it's complicated, especially because there are people that are geniuses, literal geniuses for decades, for generations, that have been putting stuff together, theories together, all this bullshit together to debunk this, right? Like the stuff that I'm sharing and trying to put together myself. Anyways, and so Windhoek, okay, it's almost, you know, at the edge of the southernmost point that the sun travels on its ecliptical path, southern latitude, and that's measurable. 23.4 degrees, 23.5 degrees, 60 degrees north-south latitude. These are all measurable. Okay? Gives me all this bullshit. So, what town or region is 23.5 degrees south latitude of the sun's path? And then a town or region located at approximately 23.5 degrees south latitude would be directly under the sun's path on the December solstice. This latitude corresponds to the Tropic of Capricorn. Therefore, a town or region near the Tropic of Capricorn would be approximately 23.5 degrees south latitude of the sun's path. One example of such a town is Santiago, the capital city of Chile, which is located near the Tropic of Capricorn. So it's saying near. And then I ask, how many degrees south latitude is Isla de los Estados? Because like that's fairly close to Chile, you know. And so Isla de los Estados, Staten Island is an island in Argentina, located off the eastern tip of Tierra del Fuego. It is situated at approximately 54 degrees south latitude. And then I asked, Isla de los Estados, does the sun ever travel directly above it? And then say, given that Isla de los Estados is located at approximately 54 degrees south latitude, the sun would never pass directly overhead. This latitude is well within the Antarctic Circle during the December solstice. The sun doesn't rise above the horizon at all. Again, most of the information in this is correct, and then they lie and mislead us and stuff like that with other things, right? So you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but some of this stuff is correct. Continuous daylight, but no. Anyway, it's because again the sun is traveling above us. It's possibly some kind of like a circular enclosed environment that's being projected via, you know, electricity and magnetism, like light and motion, whatever you want to call it. But we're experiencing this on a flat plane of inertia with the sun above, closer, much smaller than we're being led to believe. And there's even localized hot spots in smaller areas, which prove it. Okay. And so I say the sun is much larger than the earth. How is it possible for the sun to pass over Alice Springs? Oh, I misspelled that, but not Isla Los Estados. You know, that's a pretty good question, right? Because again, like the sun is like up, like, okay, so anyways, so let's see what ChatGPT says. The apparent movement of the sun across the sky, as observed from different locations on Earth, is primarily influenced by the tilt of Earth's axis and its orbit around the sun. Again, that's also fake. Again, these axis that they're talking about is conveniently 23.5 degrees. No, they're just giving you fake math and trying to explain away the fact that like on its path, it doesn't go beyond 23.4 degrees north or south latitude, depending if it's on the winter or summer solstice path. And it never goes beyond that. Okay. And that's measurable. 23.4 degrees is a measurable distance. And ironically, it's the radius, half the diameter of the Earth. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Over the other hand, Isla de los Estados is much further south, near 54 degrees south latitude. So it's so much further south latitude. And then so I say the distance between Alice Springs and Isla de los Estados So they're saying it's the distance between Alice Springs, Australia, and Isla de los Estados, Argentina. I just chose Isla de los Estados. There was no real reason. It was just further south than the sun's path, and so I just chose it because of that. Is approximately, let's say, 6,979 miles in a straight line. And then so I ask it, what's the diameter of the sun? The diameter of the sun is approximately 1.4 million kilometers, approximately 870 million miles. So again, it wouldn't matter fake tilt or not. I can find a tilt on a fucking basketball, find a tilt on a tennis ball. You know, doesn't make sense to me. The sun would be like it's come on. So anyway, I just thought you guys would find that entertaining, and just like how bogus their science is, and even Chat GPT just tries to explain shit away. Okay, something that's like a bajillion friggin' like miles in diameter, you know, like it's not going to go over like you know, Los Estados or whatever, but it's going to go over Santiago, Chile. Okay, and the only reason why it doesn't is because tilt.
That were indoctrinated as children are not going to say that now because they're not going to realize it. They're not going to.
But I'm the idiot. Okay.
To realize that that's the reason that they believe it. They're going to think that it's because of evidence and they've been shown these things when really these things are just like milk and cookies. If you leave out cookies for Santa and your prediction is, well, I believe if Santa was coming, if Santa was the truth, then these cookies and this milk will be drank in the morning. You wake up in the morning, the cookies and the milk are drank, and therefore Santa is real. That's kind of a global view of a lot of what they've done. They've left these cookie crumbs for you, and you found them, and you think, look, I plug these numbers into these formulas. Great for you. You've never come up with a formula. You've never figured it out. You just are told, here's the formula, here's the codes, here's the symbols. And then you plug in the numbers and you're like, look at me. I'm so smart that I followed what these guys say and I get the answer that they wanted me to get. Yeah. Impressive.
Wow.
I don't see at all. Let me just try and sort this by newest. Okay, I don't see it here. I just wanted to read one more time his, and I remember who it was that, oh, here's the bold one. That's weird that we didn't see it before. So he said, you are literally talking about yourself. Your globe earth proofs are completely falsified, and your video from 5 years ago with the comments turned off has been completely debunked. You are the one that is afraid of the truth and refused to allow it to be presented to you. You came all the way to Anarchapulco and sat in the bushes and didn't watch any presentations where perhaps you may have learned something new. I addressed
in the bushes.
All of your points in your video, in my presentation. You were the only presenter at the conference that doesn't reject the globe model. 95% of the attendees were flat, and most of the 5% after my presentation came up to me and started asking questions. Take your own advice. Look where your brain is refusing to look. We are still waiting for you to to agree to a structured debate on this topic. Larkin did answer him and says, that has been debunked with weird capital spelling. I guess this is like when you're retarded. This is what you do to somebody. Like you just spell like this and makes them look dumb. And Larkin, he's got great tactics. He says, no, it hasn't. It has been whined about by ignorant, gullible flurfers. And having a debate with someone who can't follow even the simplest train of thought by wildly jumping from one piece of ridiculous dogma to another doesn't work. And if you think 95% of the people here think the earth is flat, that just confirms how profoundly bad at math flat earthers are. So the guy has now dug his feet in. Don't expect him to change his mind at all. At all. Weight as a directional force at rest or is in motion is the same measure of how strongly balancing forces tend towards equilibrium. Good point. I would agree with you. Now I've heard, would you say, is it okay to say that gas doesn't have weight unless it's contained? Because I do think that is correct.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just putting this up. I just looked at T-Pro 1115. I don't see any comments from you about my QAnon comment. I'm so censored too, and I'm not the only one. I'm just saying it just so people are aware of it, and just in case they're dealing with the same things. Like there's a lot of people that are, where get less views counted, less likes counted, pushed down in the algorithms, shadow banned. You name it, it happens, and then even comments like not being shown, and it's all because of like this friggin' like the new safety searches and stuff like that are being pushed, and even that we're doing ourselves. Like even if you don't know it, like phones, the default is a moderate safety search, and for laptops as well, and so sometimes just for that reason alone, things are being blocked from being seen.
If you don't have containment, then you wouldn't be able to really measure the gas anyway, right? I think that's correct.
No,
I like it being said that way.
oh,
It's crazy how pockets.
Yeah, my Q video on YouTube definitely got deleted last year. It's on Rumble. It's still on Rumble for sure.
Gravity. Watch out for the pockets of gravity. Come on. Oh, geez. Breaking Brenda, the final episode. Who's doing that? I'm not watching. I'm busy that night. And I don't see the balls. So again, you can find it in here if you go to his video and look for the chat that he was having with, I can't remember if it was Dave Sims at the beginning or that other guy. But let me see if I can find it. It's just the black balls is hilarious because once he's pinpointed that out that it's wrong, can he just say, oh, you're right, I didn't even think about that. I still believe the Earth's a globe. I still think flat Earth is dumb, but you're right, I got that part wrong. When people can't do that, I don't know if you can call him a truther anymore. Dumb dog holder. No, it's dead dog holder McKeegan is my new top left candidate. New Moon, thank you very much. New Moon is here. New Moon is debated against Toon before, believe, right? Didn't you? Yeah, I think so. And he's somebody who used to be a believer who is no longer.
Nice.
Let me see what's going on here. We are losing the YouTube chat. It's not in there for some reason. What's going on here? Where's the YouTube chat? Weird. I don't know why that's not there. All right. So, let's finish off this. We got David McBrath vehicle. We should find it here because it was right towards the beginning, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Daryl, we've got Spartan, we got somebody. I think these long comments. Jeez, feel like writing stories, books, and I think that's it. We're at the bottom. I didn't see it. Anyway,
actually, just to break this up a little bit too, I might be a little bit slow on the draw here. This is all very interesting stuff to me. So Saturn. I've already watched this, but you might be interested in this.
Hey, folks. So lately,
Zenith of Alpha America. This posted 16 hours ago. I already liked it and watched. And so if you are interested in gematria and numbers, I would highly recommend looking at this channel. And so there's just like a lot of different connections in here. And so I'm going to tie that into astrotheosophy once it's done.
I've been trying to prove the relevance of locating where a number falls on the composite numbers chart. Today, I'm going to do this using Saturn as an example. We'll start with some familiar territory. Saturn, the planet, was named after the Roman god of time. A number associated with the planet Saturn and with time is 6. The increments of time in a day, 60 seconds per minute, 6 plus 0. 60 minutes per hour, 6 plus 0. 24 hours per day, 2 plus 4. Those break down to 6. And many people, including myself, were taught at an early age that Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun. You add all the numbers up from 1 through 6, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. The sum is 21. Using the reduction gematria cipher, Saturn equals 21. I've included the cipher chart below. You can see how Saturn equals 21. In this other cipher, the keypad cipher,
Time equals 21, and Saturn is also known as Kronos, is also known as Satan.
Time equals 21. And once again, the cipher chart is down below. This is the cipher that represents the alphanumeric buttons on your telephone. So time equals 21. And locate.
We experience time within this cosmos, and I believe that Saturn and the electrical magnetic field or whatever like that it's that the field that's containing this environment is correlated with Saturn, and then the other ones as well, like it's correlated with frequencies, notes, vibrations, colors, gases, all this stuff, and the luminaries, the zodiacal signs, the elements, and chakra systems and stuff like that. There's so many different correlations and that I can talk about. And there are people that do spread things that are incorrect. They start with red and Saturn being closest to Earth and to the sun. And I will repeatedly say that is incorrect. And even when you look in this cosmos, like in this Earth plane, when you look at the rainbows in the sky, it's actually the red that is at the top. It's not violet. And it's maybe because of how it's reflected off the dome and stuff like that, or whatever. And obviously too because of the background colors, right? Like it's like the absorption and reflection of color, like the background matters, right? And so that's how it's being seen, right? So like that's why I also say, like that's why they say that within the layers, also like it's not an accident that you have it, you know, like from Earth, like it's the sun, the moon, and then Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, whatever it was, like the seven original luminaries, right? And yeah.
The number 21 on the composite numbers chart.
And they call Saturn the like the cube. You know, and you know, with like the black cube, you know, that's also represented in so many different countries. There's also like there's also red. Sorry, there's red and violet for the visible color spectrum, but there's infrared and ultraviolet in the non-visible, and that's what also makes up this world that we may not see, but we're able to measure and test and see with the advanced technologies. And so I'm just going to throw up a picture. This is from Heath, the book Heath, and I forget who wrote it. Hearth, sorry, it's called Hearth. And I'm just looking into it now. By divine being. There's a lot of interesting stuff that this person puts together, like very impressive. But there are some things that, again, I just I don't agree with, and for my own reasons. And again, I could be wrong. But so like this is one of the images from his book that I screenshotted just to show. And again, buy the book, right? It's because like the internet might go down. You want to have hard copies of this stuff. And he's a young kid, and you know, so he put obviously a lot of effort into this stuff. So it'd be good to support him because it's very interesting. So if you'll notice a hexagon, like this is also like a sacred gematria number that is used in like these sacred gematria or gematria patterns that are made in the sky with these luminaries that they make. They make certain shapes. Like I think I've already said that. And with this, if you do this, make a line here, and then down, that makes a cube, right? So this cube right here, if you put it here, it's a hexagon, right? And then so you'll look here that this is like the 120 degrees here. It's the 720 hexagon, like the 27, the 72 with the 0, the 201, the 102, even with like the pandemic exercises and tabletop, you know, in room 201 and like 102 this and 120 this. It's all, again, like I think connected to sacred numerology, I'd like to call it, you know, the ancient numerology and in astrotheosophy. And that's why I think that it's mathematics that is used to code this reality, this multidimensional simulation, whatever you want to call it. And these shapes and stuff like that are very much tied into the pattern that is created. So I hope that's interesting. Just something different. So I'll share another picture of what I mean by that. Like, so like even with this image, like this is one that like a lot of his work is great. So like I'm not slamming his book at all. I'm saying buy the book. But he's showing like the red at the bottom. When you look at a rainbow, the red, like this needs to be flipped. So I would reverse this if I was him, just with the color scheme and stuff like that. And then his representations of the deities are, you know, are also like, again, like in like not in the order that I think that they should be in, and that it just is what it is. And so I've corrected this stuff with my chart that I've talked about for, I don't know, even know if you could see it, but this chart, I should also be doing diagrams and stuff like that and sharing this information with people. If you didn't see it, oh, I already shut it down. Damn it. Let me just go back in here. So I have a few nice ones in here. Which one was it that I wanted to show? Just want to see if you can see it back up. No, okay. If you didn't see it, this is what I mean. So the color scheme should be flipped. In my humble opinion. So I'm going to go back to Jeranism for a little bit just to, oh no, sorry, not that. I'm going to go back to composite numbers. I think I'm done with Jeranism for that video. I don't want to show his whole friggin' video because like then that will make you not want to go on his video for that case. And again, I want people to support his channel. And so anyway, here you go.
And see where it falls. Many people in the gematria decoding community talk about the importance of prime number relationships. Something equals 21. Oh, what's the 21st prime number? These things are connected. Well, looking at the composite numbers chart, 21 is the 12th composite. And in the description box, I'll probably leave a link for this clip from the Big Bang Theory. This character, Sheldon, talks about these connections with 21 and 12 and the Chuck Norris of numbers, which is the prime number relationship to 21.
12, 21 are mirror numbers too.
Is the 12th composite number. 12 is an important number in some circles.
My circle.
For measurement. Think about horoscopes, zodiacs, clocks. 12 months per year. 12 recognized zodiac signs. I know, people ignore Ophiuchus, the 13th, but in the mainstream horoscope books and whatnot, they talk about these 12 and think about the Chinese zodiac and the 12 and 12 hours AM, 12 hours PM. Look at where 12 falls on the composite numbers chart. Notice 12 is the 6th composite number. 6, again, a number connecting with Saturn and time. Again, we're told that Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun. The word Saturn equals the 6th triangular number in reduction gematria. And if you look at the 21st triangular number, Saturnalia equals the 21st triangular number, 231. And this is using the capitals mixed cipher. This is
the winter solstice for North America. The winter solstice is on the 21st of December. So you've got the 2112, 1221, right? Because it's the 12th month, like after the calendar system that we use as well. And that's when the sun is traveling from Sagittarius into Capricorn, right? And Saturn rules over Capricorn and Aquarius, the winter months, in the northern hemisphere. The opposite it's the summer months in the southern hemisphere, or outer portion of the ring or circle, whatever you want to call it.
Case sensitive cipher. It depends on what letters you capitalize. The capital S, like people would normally capitalize the first letter of the word, sometimes capitalize the whole entire word, but here the first letter is capitalized. Saturnalia equals 231. For those unaware, Saturnalia is the ancient Roman festival of Saturn. And once again, with the capital letter S, Saturnalia equals 231. Now let's look at the 231st composite number. Somebody in a previous video asked me if there was a lookup service to find out where the number falls on the numbers chart, instead of just counting it out one by one. I don't know of such a service. If anybody knows of a service like that, please, feel free to leave a comment. So yeah, just looking at the chart that I have included in the middle of the screen here, it's the last row. The 231st number is in the last row. It's 294, which reminds me of the orbital period of Saturn. If you do a simple internet search, I mean, I suppose everybody's Google might show you something different, but first thing I see is the estimate 29.4 Earth years. Some of us might forget that decimal point, just like a date, you know. You forget the slash. You just say, oh, 294, okay, 294. You look at this chart of composite numbers to see where 294 can fit in with all this. The Saturn orbit, 29.4 Earth years. 294 is the 231st composite. Again, Saturnalia, ancient Roman festival of Saturn. Using the capital S, Saturnalia equals 231. 231 is the 21st triangular, and 21 is the 6th triangular number. Saturn, the 6th planet. And again, it's worth repeating that the 6th composite number is 12. Think about 12 numbers on the clock. 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours AM, 12 hours PM, 12 months in the year, 12 zodiac signs. 12th composite number is 21. Remember the Chuck Norris of numbers clip I'm going to leave in the description box? With the keypad cipher time equals 21. Of course, Saturn was known as God of Time.
Very interesting. So I didn't realize it was over yet. Okay, so that's it for me. There's so much more I could talk about, but let me see on Rumble if there's any questions. I didn't see any before. I'm not getting as many views on Rumble anymore, which is unfortunate because most of my videos are on Rumble, and I have really good videos from a couple of years ago on where I cover various different topics, even about old events that have happened, that you may not know about, like Holodomor, Northwoods, USS Liberty, false flags from like 9/11, January 6th, World War I, World War II, astrotheosophy. I go down so many different rabbit holes, like petroleum not being a fossil fuel, my theories on evolution, and create like all of that stuff, and a lot of like even stuff on COVID, a lot of stuff on COVID, obviously, and yeah, nothing on Rumble. So anyway, so on that note, I will leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.